is empower team members and stakeholders. The first enabler, 1.4.1, is organize around team strengths.
So for the project manager to do this, project manager must be aware of developing the resource management plan by defining the roles and responsibilities of the project team members in order to create a project organizational structure and provide guidance regarding how resources will be assigned and managed. You might have heard of the Strength Finders book. It's a good example of how you seek out strengths of the team through interviews, questionnaires, guided self-reflection, 360-degree feedback scores. But the bottom line is when you have done that, you will have some intelligence regarding your team strength, and then you want to put them in their strength zone so that they can flourish on the project.
The enabler for 1.4.2 is support team task accountability.
So the project duty here is to conduct that kickoff meeting, communicating the start of the project, key milestones, and other relevant information in order to inform and engage stakeholders and gain commitment. So when we talk about accountability, what people need to be directly responsible or directly accountable for, we need to, first of all, acquire and manage the resources, and then we need to point them towards things that they are accountable for. Things like milestones will help them understand that, and other relevant information. I want to very quickly go over the 5 C's for building team accountability, because that will help you understand accountability a bit more. Another word for accountability, by the way, is the approving authority. So if someone is the approving authority for a task, it means you're saying they're belly button accountable for it. So to do this, we need to understand the common purpose, set those clear expectations. We need to communicate and align team members. We need to collaborate, and they also need to understand the consequences. Now, with that said, understanding consequences does not mean disciplinary action. For your exam, you want to be aware that the option of disciplinary action is likely to not be the best option on a question. So when we talk about consequences, we're not talking about discipline, but we're talking about what happens if the person fails in their accountability. Let's go over to the third enabler.
All right, evaluate demonstration of task accountability.
So again, project charter helps us understand as project managers what we're supposed to do, helps us understand our authority. It also helps gain commitment and acceptance for the project. And the project manager should measure project performance using appropriate tools and techniques in order to identify and quantify any variance and corrective actions. Just as a quick overview, there are 6 ways you can build accountability into a project. Address accountability at the kickoff meeting, highlight the interconnectedness of tasks, get public commitment on action items, publicly follow up on action items, confront poor performance, and escalate performance issues when necessary. Now, as we're going through the people piece, I also want you to remember that not only are we talking about the predictive side of project management, we're also talking about the agile and hybrid sides as well. You need to think this all the way through. So in the world of agile, when we talk about people, while the project manager is in the center of predictive, in agile, you've got to remember that it's really more team focused, and it's really more of the team being accountable for itself. So when we talk about confronting poor performance in the world of agile, that looks a little bit different from a world of predictive, where the project manager may be the person to confront poor performance. In the world of agile, you have the team as a unit confronting performance, and then escalate performance issues when necessary. Let's go on to our next enabler.
All right. Enabler number 4 is determine and bestow the level or the levels of decision-making authority.
So here again, when we talk about authority, project manager on many projects has some measure of authority, but in some projects it might be limited. On some other projects, the project manager may need to clarify who is responsible for what. So it goes back to developing the stakeholder engagement plan by analyzing needs, interests, and potential impact in order to effectively manage stakeholders' expectations, and engage them in the project decisions. I want to make it very clear that is a stakeholder engagement plan. All of these project duties have been crafted from PMI documentation where that term was used, but it is called a stakeholder engagement plan, just to be extremely sure that you are aware of that. And openly agreeing who has final decision-making authority before the final decision is rendered is a necessary means of obtaining buy-in from participants. A participant will only truly support a decision made by another when the participant has agreed to cede decision-making authority up front. So, my friends, we have covered quite a lot. And Emily, let's take a look at what we've talked about at a high level.
Sure, this task again is empower team members and stakeholders. We organize around team strengths. We support team task accountability. We evaluate the demonstration of task accountability and determine and bestow levels of decision-making authority.
And that concludes our task 4. Next, we'll be moving into task 5.